Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Ultra Squad, and today this is part 2 of what if issei was actually a saiyan. Now let's get into it. Now, the last part we actually left off to where it was actually issei versus Mei inside the martial arts tournament, as issei actually managed to winning the cash prize. As yeah, that was the part that we actually left off. Now we're actually going to switch point of views. We have to go to the underworld. We have to go to the Grim Marie's territory. We actually see a mansion. Inside the mansion, we see a girl with red hair and blue eyes. She's looking out the window. She's actually looking out at her family. We can actually see a person with brown hair and also violet eyes. As a person next to her, this person has red hair going down to his shoulders and also blue eyes like her. As he's wearing normally a tuxedo or whatever. And the person next to that and him is, we see another red hair just with blue eyes, the same hair color and eye color as her. As he's wearing some kind of armor, and beside him is actually a maid with white hair and also silver hair and blue eyes, and she's wearing a maid outfit. And inside the center is actually a little girl, as she also has the same red hair and blue eyes. As right there you guys are actually seeing, this is actually the Grimmery family. As the person inside the building, she's actually watching her family enjoying that time without her. As we will actually hear a knock on the door and somebody's coming in. Hey Mio, how are you doing? As the little girl now identifies Mio, she answers, "Oh, Uncle Wilbur, how are you? I'm all good. I'm just, catching up on my reading." And Wilbur actually just looks outside the window, and he actually just sighs. "So, you watching them again?" As Mio says "Yeah, I know I have you, Uncle, but the fact of not feeling a true family love, it's just weird to me. I actually don't know." Wilbur decides, "God damn it, brother. Why do you have to neglect your own daughter? If Mom saw you right now, she would be disappointed in you." As Wilbur would say "Hey, you don't need to mind about them. They pretty much don't really care about you. I know that actually sounds harsh on you, Mio, but trust me, you need to move on. This is actually not good for you." And Mio says "Yeah, I've been mostly focusing on the training that I actually been doing with you." As Wilbur says "Oh, so you've been practicing ki control?" And Mio says "Yeah, it's actually kind of me pathetic, not actually having any magic." As Wilbur says "Mio, listen, yes, you may not have magic, and that's the reason why they neglected you. But still, you have something even more powerful than magic. Like I said, ki. And I know you've been training to perfect it. And listen, ki is actually not that easy just to learn. I mean, my mother, or your grandmother, basically had ki. She didn't have magic, but her ki was actually super powerful. And also, my brother, he didn't actually get the ki, but he actually inherited magic. And so it actually passed down to your older brother, which he didn't actually have ki, and your sister, which she doesn't have ki, Rias. But you do. You have a high amount of ki. Trust me with that. You have a strong amount of ki." As Mio said "Thanks, Uncle. I really actually appreciate it. You and looking out for me staying at your place. It's been about how many months after they actually moved in with you?" As well with a chuckle. "It's been about 5 months now, but I hope you're actually doing alright." Mio just nods. As Wilbur say "Oh yeah, I actually have an offer for you. It's about your training actually." And Mio says "What about it?" "Well, I'm thinking that I'm not really a good expert on ki control and so on, but I know a friend who's capable of key. As Miyota said, like, huh? But uncle, I thought you were the only one inside the underworld that pretty much knows key, and my grandmother and me. Who else could be there? As Wilbur would just say, like, yes, we are the only one in the underworld who knows key. But I'm not talking about the devil at Mio. I'm talking about my old friend. They're actually inside the human world. He pretty much is a martial artist, and three of them actually, and they're pretty much right there have great key control, and plus they're really strong. I was actually thinking of, like introducing you to them, and plus they already have two like kids actually the same age as you, and Mio just said like, huh? Wait, kids? You mean humans? I actually don't know. As Wilbur would say like, no, you don't need to worry about that. As Mio said like, oh, well, okay, but I actually don't know. Going to the human world, I've never been into it. I have nothing against the humans, it's just that I don't feel right, like, stepping into that land. As Wilbur would say like, yeah, I actually don't feel comfortable too, stepping into that land without us knowing. This is why we have to keep the secret of the supernatural world, right? I know you're interested in humans, and I know you've been desperately wanting to go, so this is your chance. And plus, I actually set up an arrangement that you'll be teaching with them. Don't worry about school here, Mio. And Mio just said like, but, as Wilbur would just say like, I saw how the kids treat you. Seeing that you don't have magic, you can't defend yourself. I think it'd be better for you to actually go to the human world. And plus, don't worry about the council. I already taken care of them, so you won't be having any arranged marriage. Not at all. With Mio just say like, thanks uncle. I really appreciate it. These three masters, you say, as Wilbur would say like, masters, well, they're actually my friends. One was actually called Master Roshi, and the other is actually called Gohan. And one of my good friends is actually called Yomon. Admiral said like, wait, Yomon? The one who actually saved your life? Wait, the saiyan that you say? As Wilbur would just say like, yes, he's a saiyan. And plus, he has like a grandchild. He's the same age as you, and he's a saiyan too. He's actually learning how to properly use his ki. I think it would be actually a good time, probably for you to learn it. As Mio just said like, that's actually good. As we will actually skip point of view. We'll go on to Ethan's point of view. It's been about a few months, about actually 2 now. Ethan actually told his parents about the martial arts tournament, and they were actually surprised. Especially her, Issei's sister, Rin. She was actually surprised that she actually didn't even know about Issei's martial arts. It's because they were actually so caught up with their actually lives, they didn't really have time for Issei. Don't get me wrong, they don't really hate Issei or anything. They actually do see Issei like a strange person, but they don't actually hate him. Or his brother, he has a grudge against him, something like that. But the rest, they're actually alright with him, so yeah. Especially, his sister, Rin, she was actually more devastated. She never knew right that her brother was inside one tournament, and she missed it. God damn it, she would say. As Issei's grandfather, Yomon, will come in, and he will actually talk to his actually father. Or no, not his father, I mean his son. Saying that he would actually like to, take Issei, to live, for him to live with him. And, teach him some martial arts, and him staying inside the countries and things like that. They were actually hesitant at first. I mean, Issei is pretty much of an outdoor person, and it would be great for him to be in his element. I mean, his exactly element. This actually took a long time to decide, but they actually agreed that Issei will go to the countryside, and Issei will visit them sometimes when he wants. As Issei's mom promised like Issei's mom told, Issei that if he's going to the countryside, then he's pretty much gonna have to go to school. She said this with a dark aura that even shake Sir Vex, the demon, not really, Lucifer will even shit himself. As Issei's grandfather would say yeah, don't worry, he will totally go to school. I was sure to educate him, and plus he will be learning some martial art. And when he's actually done school, he can actually come here to his high school or whatever. They actually nod their head, they actually agree, and with that, Issei just goes and moves into the countryside. And with that, he actually starts his training with actually Mei. And two of them are actually right now are actually Master Roshi's, as two of them are actually sparring. Issei actually already knows that he's actually a Saiyan, and Mei already knows that she's a Saiyan. So this fighting is actually kind of not really that intense, but it's a little bit how should I say, a crazy fight, a sparring match. So you're on. As Issei and Mei were actually sparring, Master Roshi just called them over. He's like, Issei, Mei, I think we actually should stop here for today. Actually, I have something to tell you actually. As Issei and Mei will actually stop their fight, as they will actually go to the master. As Issei will say Master Roshi, is there something wrong? As Master Roshi will say oh no, actually there's someone here who's actually going to join us on our training. As Mei would say who is it? As she was actually looking curious. She was actually wondering if this person was actually strong. As Issei's grandfather, Yomushi, sorry guys, I can't actually pronounce it, Yomushi, as he would just say actually, he was actually an old friend of actually mine. He's bringing his actually niece just to train with us. As Issei would say great, I can't wait to actually meet this person. So a magical circle will just appear. As the moment Issei and Mei see this, they actually get into a fighting stance. They know about the supernatural world, and they know about supernatural beings and so on. So they were actually being really careful. And once the lights actually dials down, it actually reveals a tall man with red hair and also blue eyes. As right beside the tall man was actually a little girl, the same hair color as him and also the same eye color. As the group will actually just stop and see who are these two people, to where Issei's grandfather would say oh, Wilbur, you finally come. So, is this your niece? As the person now identified as Wilbur, he would say long time no see, old friend. Yeah, I brought right down my niece along. And Roshi, you did heard what I actually said when I was actually talking to you, right? As Roshi would say so yeah, don't worry, I trained this one actually good, and don't worry, I won't go rough on her on our training. As Issei would say so who are them? As Roshi would say well, this is actually your new student, guys. As Issei would say new student? Wow, wait, I can sense a little bit of an energy. Issei can sense energy, but not that good. As he would sense I can sense it. She has some kind of demonic key or something, but it's actually kind of strong. This probably must be tough. As Issei would go and walk up, and also Mei, she would go and she would bow down. Two of them would actually bow their head down, saying it's a pleasure to meet you. Sorry, I don't know your name. As Mio would say my name is Mio Grimmery. It's an honor to meet you. If you by any chance, are you not Issei Hyodo? As Issei will be surprised. How did you know my name? Issei will say inside his thoughts. Yeah, that's my name, Issei Hyodo. How do you know? as Neil would just say like, well, actually my uncle were pretty much friends with your grandfather. And he actually, like, I hear him talking about you, and you kind of look similar to your grandfather, just, like, you being smaller. Issei would say, like, yeah, that's me. Well, I'm actually really glad to meet you, Mio, and I hope right that we actually become great friends. With May saying, like, well, with that over, my name is May, and I also hope we can actually become great friends and also great rivals. She will actually extend her hand out, and me will actually just take it without even a second, and sealing that deal that they actually are friends and rivals now. Wilbur will say like, so, I heard about you, Issei and May. I heard about that you guys are pretty actually powerful. I heard about you entering the tournament, martial arts. Congratulations on winning. Neil was actually supposed to actually take part in it, as Issei was like, really? She was supposed to take part? What happened? Well, Wilbur would say like, well, like things came up and yeah, she wasn't able to go. But next tournament she'll be able to do it. And trust me, she's pretty strong. As Neil would say like, yeah, sorry about my uncle. He kinda like said things about me that, sometimes isn't true. I'm not really that strong. I mean, I'm barely getting control of the key. As Issei would say like, you too? Same here. I pretty much have a little bit of a hard time controlling it, but I'm getting there. To where Issei's grandfather would say like, well, so, are you actually planning to stay inside like a demon world? Wilbur would say like, I have work inside the devil world actually. And don't worry, I didn't say anything to anyone about either of you until the time is actually right. So when Roshi would actually nod to him, saying like, yeah, it's still too early for them. But trust me, we'll be preparing them soon. Yeah, pretty much, how should I say, gonna become a great hit inside the future once they actually find out. Roshi would just giggle. As Wilbur would say like, yeah, they're pretty much all gonna become killers, aren't they? Not actually not actual killers, but it was just, an expression. As Issei would say like, oh, it was actually nice meeting you, Wilbur. As Wilbur would say like, nice meeting you too, young Issei. As Issei's grandfather would say like, wait, so, are you actually planning to stay here? No, he already said, sorry. As he would just say like, how long are you guys actually planning to stay? So Wilbur would say like, well, I did tell you about the issues about, like, Mio. Hey, wait, Mio, why don't you, go and talk to Issei and May? I'll come see you later. So where Mio would just say like, yeah, sure thing. And Issei would say like, well, it's actually seeing that the adults want to talk, why don't we actually get to know each other better? To where the trio will just walk off, trying to know Mio. As Issei's grandfather would say like, so, how's the situation? As Wilbur would say like, it's bad. It's a bad, old friend. I mean, Mio, her ki, like, even though she possessed great power in ki, it's too dangerous. And I'm actually having to feel that the supernatural, like the other supernatural beings might actually track her, especially the true demons. Roshi would say like, so, is it really that bad? Wilbur would say like, it's not really that bad. I've been teaching her basic controlling her powers, but her emotion is actually great, and one single trigger is all she actually needs. Or not really like a simple trigger anger, but once she gets really mad, it's actually truly terrifying. The way Issei's grandfather would say like, don't worry, we'll be actually training them good. As Wilbur would say like, yeah, Neil will be staying with you, right? As he would actually look towards Issei's grandfather. He'd say like, yeah, my wife will actually be delighted to actually see her. And especially with Issei. You can probably have like another little sister. Huh. As Wilbur with a chuckle. We'll see about that. As we'll actually go on to like Issei's point of view. As Issei was actually trying to get to know Mio, Issei and Mei actually realized that Mio is actually an interesting person to talk. She talked about like, you know, her becoming like stronger, protecting, and things like that. And that she's not actually like some devils that they actually heard about. Like Mio actually tells them like, you know, like some devils are pretty much like, you know, like mean and so on, scumbags and things like that. That as Issei, he actually realized that Mio is actually a good person, but not just that, she's actually pretty much powerful. As Mei would say like, so, and seeing that you told and you about yourself, how about we actually tell us about you about us, she would say. As Issei and Mei start telling them about themselves, yada yada yada. As Mei actually said something. As Mio says like, so I was actually kind of wondering, do you guys actually like to spar like a little? She would say. As Issei was actually kind of taken aback. He would say like, yeah, sure, I just don't mind sparring with you. Where me would just say like, hold up, no, I'm sparring with her. I can sense how strong she is. As Issei would say like, okay, fine, you can have this. To where Issei like backs up, as Mei actually just looks at her, and she was actually kind of excited. She actually loved to fight like strong opponents. Like she actually sparred with her actually uncle, and yeah, as this was actually like another opponent that she actually gets to face. As Mio said like, so you ready? As Mei just said like, I'm always ready, she said. As the two fully on this go, well actually Mei just goes to charge in. As she tries to do like one quick like axe kick towards Mio, where she actually just pretty much just dodges it. And she grabs like Mei's leg, and she pretty much actually just goes and twists her like around, and pretty much throws her like to like one nearby rock, which Mei actually just instantly like avoids it. She would just say like, you're actually pretty much good. Yeah, heck, try this on for size. As she pretty much actually puts her hands together, she actually just say like, I hope that you're able to dodge this. Yeah, like good. Yeah, guys, I know this is Vegeta's technique, whatever. As she pretty much just goes and shoots like a purple beam, to where Mio just putting on just dodges it at the like, not really at the last second, but really she just actually just dodges it. She just goes and shoots like her own blast. As she goes and throws her destruction like key ball, as she just goes and shoots it towards Mei, as Mei just putting on the like also dodges it. As she actually a few of them look at each other as they actually go into like some kind of fist fight. As Issei can actually tell that two of them are strong, but Mio has way more like experience in fighting. As Issei watches, as he was actually impressed, he can actually tell like Mio like is really talented when it actually comes to like comes to fighting. You will actually see Mei go, as she would just go and deliver like one like how should I say, like one like uppercut, to where Mei was putting on get like dodges it, but she will actually get grazed and by the attack. As Mei and like Mio would just put on and say like, wow, that was actually pretty much close, but you do know this is actually always just a warm-up. To where Mei would say like, so you want to go all out? And she would say like, oh, I'm totally down for it. To where she would just charge up right at her ki, and once Issei actually felt it, it was actually massive. And he would say like, this power, like, jeez, her ki is something. I can't sense magic, but I can sense her ki. It's incredible. As Mew would just fully on this go and shoot like her destruction key balls like attacks at rampant speed to where Macy like get hit by like most of them, seeing that how fast the key ball was actually coming from. But Mio was actually done there. She fully on this goes and she uses like her lightning attack, and she actually just goes and uses like 500 bolts of lightning to actually go and shock May. To where if you guys think like, yo, that was actually overboard, remember they're Saiyans. As May actually gets hit by it, as she just fully on already just need to collapse to the ground. As she actually regains her like strength, she would say like, wow, I can tell you're no pushover when it comes to these things, but you should know I'm actually no pushover too. As she would just fully on the go, as she would just go and throw like one like key ball attack, as to where it actually pretty much dodges her. Like the key ball actually just misdirections to where May would say like, that was all that I actually pretty much need. To where the key ball just behind her just fully on exploded, as the explosion just goes and Mio actually gets knocked to the ground. As she gets back up, avoiding right there like a blast that was coming towards her, as she pretty much avoided it at the last second, where Mio just pretty much just goes as she just actually just does like after images of herself. This is actually a technique that she actually learned from her uncle, as she was actually like not perfect at it, but still, yeah. She made after images, just about like two of them, as May can easily tell them, as she pretty much can actually sense where she is. As she pretty much just goes and blocks an attack that was actually coming from her. Issei was actually impressed by it. This fight is super intense, he says. As he actually sees that Mio and May actually fought for about 20 minutes straight. As the fight actually ended to where Roshi actually said like, oh, well, I think you guys should actually stop here. I think this is actually pretty much of a warm welcome that we should actually greet all of our students, don't you think? As to where Issei would say like, I don't think so, but it's your school, so yeah. As the fight actually stops to where Robo actually comes up and he goes and to May saying like, oh, they're pretty much all actually a skilled fighter. I can tell by that. As May says like, thanks. It's not easy. She's pretty much hard to actually defeat. As May would say like, well, sorry about that. Did I go a little bit overboard? Knowing that if she actually pretty much went overboard with her new friend, thinking that if she did, then she'd probably be mad, and we don't want to have to be friends anymore. Mio actually thought. As she will actually, to her surprise, made her pretty much just give her like a fist pump, saying that was actually pretty much an amazing fight. You can pretty much be stronger than even Issei over there. So Issei would say like, well, she's definitely strong. I can tell by that. Where Issei's grandfather comes in, he pretty much said like, oh, Issei, I forgot to tell you that you and Mio would pretty much be living with us actually. Well, you already know I was actually living with me, but you was actually pretty much going to be living with us. So this actually shocked even Issei, May, and Mio. Wait, what? The two of them would say. As Issei's grandfather would say like, yeah, well, your uncle said that he has business inside the underworld that he needs to pay. So you can stay with us. Don't worry. The two of us are actually great friends. And perhaps with the type of training that you two will be getting, I'm pretty sure you'll be just fine. Like he said. As Issei said like, well, that's no problem with me. As to Ameo would say like, thanks, but are you sure it's actually alright? Mister, as Issei's grandfather would say like, you can just call me Mr. Hyodo, if you like, or Yomoshi, or Yomichi. As to where May would say like, okay, Sir Hyodo. As guys, I think I might end it here, as this has actually been part 2 of what if Issei was a Saiyan. If you guys actually want part 3, get this video to about like 300, and I'll give you guys inside the next one. Peace.